Confused by wellness advice? You're not alone. In part 2 with our conversation with Colleen, we bust the biggest myths around supplements, hormones, and trendy fixes, and reveal what your body actually needs to feel good again.
Hi, I'm Britt.
And I'm Amy, and welcome to the Every Season podcast.
We're here for a fun time, not a long time.
Hopefully we're here for a bit of a long time. Hey Britt,
Hey, Ames.
would you say you need some assistance when it comes to being more aware of your body?
Why? What have you got?
Well, you can download our free 7-step female body awareness kit and see if it helps
Sweet, where?
in the show notes and on our website.
Also, in order for us to be here for a long time.
Please subscribe to our podcast.
So, before I go on to the next question, I just want to ask one before I keep going. But, what is your thoughts on, vitamins that we get from, let's say the chemists and stuff like that? Would you, are you all for it? Plus, providing, this program that you put into place regarding food, etc.? Or, what's your thought on that? I'm just interested.
Yeah, so I use supplements in the work that I do, but they're a bridge. They are not meant to be long-term. And oftentimes we're going to get these multivitamins or specific minerals, and we have no idea what our body actually needs. And so I'm not for that. We really should know if we're going to be taking something, does our body need this, And here in the States, a big one that we hear often, and I kind of feel like you guys probably hear this too, but is vitamin D. Everyone, you need vitamin D, you need vitamin D. And I run labs on vitamin D, and I see women who their vitamin D is through the roof. And vitamin D is actually a hormone. It's not actually a vitamin. And so it can really create a lot of dysregulation with our body, and it impacts the way that we use calcium too. And so if we're over vitamin D'ing ourselves, it's going to throw off our calcium, and we're going to see that in a variety of symptoms as well. So it is incredibly important to understand, what does my body need? Because just because vitamin D works for one person, or vitamin C works for somebody, or magnesium works for somebody, you might not actually need it. You might need something totally different. That's where the functional lab testing is great.
Well, I was going to say, and that was my next question. So, how would we know? Because obviously everyone's body is so different. So is that where obviously you have your initial consultation, Colleen, and then obviously then do the lab testing to really identify you know, where people's levels are at?
Yeah. That's why that initial consultation is so important to me, because I want to know, what have you tried? What have you done? Have you done functional lab testing before? And then what are your goals? Because we can look at things and I could see a completely different set of goals. But if you're like, no, I don't really want more energy, I just want to poop regular. Okay, let's focus on that. I mean, you're going to get more energy if you're pooping regular anyways. But, it's what does the client want, and how do we get them there? And so, lab testing, blood work, gut testing. One of my favorites is a hair tissue mineral analysis, which is actually you take samples of your hair and they test it. It's
I was going to say,
absolutely
what
fantastic.
testing do you do? Because I've heard of the hair testing. So I didn't know if it was the hair testing or the blood test that you get done in the lab.
Depends, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Some people, it depends what we're looking for. I see a lot of iron dysregulation. So I want to look at blood panels for that, and pairing that with something like a hair tissue mineral analysis, where we can see how your body is utilizing the minerals in your body, is absolutely fantastic. And sometimes I have a group coaching program that I work with burnt out, exhausted women in that program. And the only test that I bring in is a hair tissue mineral analysis. And that alone is life-changing for these women. We get so many answers for what's going on in their body, not just do this random stuff, and so many people feel like I'm just throwing spaghetti at the wall and trying to see what sticks. And this is actually giving answers, which is, it's such an amazing test. It's very nuanced, but it's amazing.
It's crazy. I'm actually just smiling because I'm just thinking, can I send a sample of my hair to the US?
I know, that's why I was just
I
like,
just made my brain.
I know, that's where I was like, I just got goosebumps. And I saw Brit smirk, because I'm thinking, she's probably thinking the same thing.
Yeah.
I'm like, where's a functional lab in Australia? But
You
my
know, there
brain goes like,
is.
oh, how can we create a business that does it?
Yeah, there is. I'm gonna get back to you on that because I know there's a lab in Australia that does this, and I can't remember the name of it. I'm pretty sure it's in Australia that does
I would
this.
love to do that.
Yeah.
Like, what's the
Yeah.
harm in it? Like, it's only going
100%.
to benefit you, that's for sure. Oh,
Uh-huh.
God.
And I think as well, Colleen, like, how do you see, I guess, our menstrual cycle as females link up to everything like this as well? Like, is that a massive part in it all as well?
Yeah. Oh, it absolutely, absolutely. And because, I mean, so many people hate having their menstrual cycle, but honestly, it's an insight into how your body is functioning every single month. I mean, it really, truly is a cue if things are off the rails. And, you know, it's going to shift and change as you're experiencing different things. Last year, it was like one major stressor after another in my world. You know, we had a family member with a massive surgery that had to happen. We had a family member that passed away. I mean, it was like all of these big things. And my cycle went absolutely haywire. And I was like, I have not had any issues for years. And it's just wild to think how stress impacts it. And then we have to really hone in on like, okay, what has changed? What has shifted? And hit the reset button on that. And when I started that's why I laughed at the beginning where I was like, what season am I in? It's been all over the place in the last year. But when I get really intentional and say, this is what my body needs, this is what I need, within 2-3 months, it was back to regular again. And so all of this goes into, you know, the same thing with our menstrual cycle. If our gut is struggling and we're not able to digest our foods, particularly the fats, the healthy fats that we're eating, or we're not getting enough healthy fats, we can't even make the hormones that we need to function. And the same thing goes with stress. If our body is in this chaos and in this fight or flight, our body is prioritizing fighting or flighting, and it can't focus on things like digestion, like hormone production or reproduction. It's going to focus on survival. So it's all connected. Absolutely.
Wow. Yeah, like speechless. Yeah, mind blown.
Yeah. I mean, and I wish I had this when I was 14, because when I started my cycle, it was miserable. And I remember my mom taking me to the doctor, and she was like, yeah, you can put her on the pill.
Well,
And she's like, I mean,
such a common thing we've come across as of late. Every single person we have on that we talk about, like the cycles, like, just pop her on the pill, just pop her on the pill. Like, it's ridiculous. It's just not the answer. Like, it can be for some people, like we've said multiple times.
Yeah.
But, like, it shouldn't just be the automatic response, the default response. Do you know what I mean?
I mean, no one dug deeper. They were just like, oh, you have endometriosis. Great. Here you go. This will fix it. And I mean, it made it a little better. But I was also told at a very young age, like, you're never going to have kids. It's not possible for you to have this severe of endometriosis at this age. It'll never get better, and you'll end up having a hysterectomy young. And that was not the case. Obviously, I have 2 little girls now, and, you know, I was terrified to come off the pill. But when I had done all of this work ahead of time, when I came off the pill, it was actually, I felt way better. And it took a little bit for my cycles to regulate, but they were fine. And I was like, okay, so it was like waiting for a shoe to drop. Okay, each month I'm like, is this the month that it starts to get bad again? And I never did.
So, obviously you're working with a lot of different types of women out there.
Yeah.
And they're all going through different stages, seasons of life. What is one of the biggest mistakes that you see when it comes to burnout and nutrition?
Yeah. Undereating is the number one thing that I see. I've had women come in eating about 900 calories to 1,200 is usually the range that I see.
It's probably me.
And, I'm not a macro coach. I will calculate macros, but it's not, we shouldn't be living off of like checking every little thing and weighing our food and all of that stuff that, we get into restrictive eating and disordered eating and things like that. But we need to know, what is the amount that I'm eating? I'll have people take pictures. I'll have them track for like 2 days just to get a feel. And usually that 2-day track, they're like, holy cow, I didn't realize I was eating so little. And as soon as we start adding nutrients in, and I like to focus on one meal at a time. How can what meal is the easiest for you to focus on? Okay, let's start there. And then we layer in other, okay, let's move to lunch, and, let's bring a snack in, and what does dinner look like? And when we start to do that, we start to see more energy, sleep improved, hormones start to come back online. Anxiety is a big one that I see go down when we're eating enough. But it's not, that not eating enough encompasses a lot, because I often see we're grabbing for coffee before food, and we're skipping meals throughout the day. And then we fall into these
I feel
really
like you're
toxic
talking to
wellness.
us and we're getting told off.
Okay, well, what's going on?
Actually, this morning I thought about it. I was just like, oh, yep, here goes another morning where I have coffee on an empty stomach.
So don't do that. Don't do that.
But Colleen, you're so right, because like, especially mums and even busy women that are on the go, but like mums, whilst they're cooking or they're preparing their kids' food, they just snack on that as they go. They don't actually have like substantial meals until dinner time. Well, that's what I see anyway. And then when you're a businesswoman, you're on the go, because I've done both, you just get things as you go along, and you kind of eat, let's say the morning you have your coffee, then you're working, you have a lunch, and then you might have like a light dinner or something, but like it doesn't really, there's nothing in between. Would you say the same, Ames?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like we had the conversation like the other day. I would classify myself as a clean eater, but like I said, I'm a convenient clean eater. And what I mean by that is like, yes, I'm always on the go when I don't prioritize eating. So I'll have a can of tuna and packaged rice every day. Now, when you actually look at that, when I'm having that every single day and then I'm having coffee on empty stomach, I'm conveniently healthy eating, but that's all processed stuff in my head, if I'm having it every day. So yeah, I would not disagree with you there, Britt. And like it's just when you start to really kind of, like you said, Colleen, like I guess the amount of conversations we have had, it's just, and our own experiences, when you take the time just to sit and be present and actually pause for a second and look at what you're doing in your life and feeling and tracking your symptoms, that's when you become more aware and you start to really think about and question certain things. And a lot of people, like you've seen, Colleen, people don't do it, they don't do it. And then they forget when they've worked with someone like you and done such incredible work and go, oh my God, it's crazy the difference,
Yeah. And then we're like chasing stuff. Oh, I saw this trend on TikTok. Saw this thing on Instagram. And should I be drinking juice or should I be avoiding fruit? And, we start to fear food. And I see that all the time. Well, I can't eat apples. Why not? Why can we not eat apples? What did apples do today? And so I don't pay attention to the trends. I get a lot of questions on the trends and I'm like, I don't know. Yeah. I'm not gonna let's see what your body needs, not the trends.
I'm keen, just like from a personal perspective, just quickly, your two, I guess, like your view on supplements such as collagen and creatine for women.
So I like them.
Yep.
I use them.
Yep.
They are not replacement for a healthy diet, you know, and like I said before, with the supplements, they're a bridge. They are there to get you from one place to another. Now, creatine, there's a lot of research that's coming out about brain health. And so this can be a huge addition and benefit for somebody who's really struggling neurologically. And we see this, with things like dementias and Alzheimer's and whatnot. But we want to be mindful of what's the goal here. Am I taking something and not changing any of my lifestyle? It's something that can benefit and improve our workouts. It's something that can benefit and improve our brain function. But if we're still not supporting those things from a diet and lifestyle perspective, we're not really going to see the results that we want.
I love that. It's like such a holistic view.
Before Amy goes on to the next question, I'm just going to probably ask something a bit more controversial.
Oh, here she is. Controversial questions. It's normally me.
So,
Do it.
What do you think about Ozempic?
I feel like you've just started this conversation now. This is going to be a 3-hour podcast.
Okay, we're going there. Here's the thing. Do these GLPs have a place for some people? Yes. They have been incredibly beneficial to people with diabetes that really struggle and haven't had much success in other things. However, they are also meant to be used with regular movement and a healthy diet. And that's the piece that we're missing, is that we're just injecting and we're not making the behavioral changes. And then people say, well, I didn't really lose weight, or I lost weight and it came back. We shouldn't be just, again, like supplements, blindly doing something without making the changes to support what that pharmaceutical, what that supplement is designed to do. And it's not meant to be long-term.
Like I feel you, because I feel like there's so many people out there that are just on it. And like you see so many stars, they probably get it like easily. So I think it's a trend more than like,
oh, absolutely.
Than actually figuring out how to change your lifestyle. Like I think if you need a little kickstart, sure. And then you figure out how you're going to change your lifestyle to kind of, match what you want to do. Like I completely hear.
But it's an easy out, or it's seen as an easy out, and people aren't getting the education that they need, that this is not meant to fix your life. And at the end of the day, when you lose that weight, if you haven't done the work to sustain it, or you haven't done the inner work to say, I love myself, where are you going to be? Because it's not going to change that either. No,
you're so true. Because then, like you said, the food that you're, I suppose, like getting people or customizing to what they need is actually supporting their anxiety, their mental health, the burnout, etc. You're taking the Ozempic, like it's not really supporting them in those areas. So you have to kind of do hand in hand to kind of get those benefits.
I just think that I can't ever remember the exact, I can see the graph in my head, but I can't remember the numbers.
Are you talking about the food chart or?
No, I'm talking about I was reading an article the other day, and it was specific. It was, I think, for the US. It wasn't related to Australia, but it was saying how the rate of obesity is increasing, yet we have products like Ozempic. We've got all the health and wellness trends out there, the run clubs, the Pilates, all that type of stuff, and it's still on the rise. And I just read this article, and I just it's a quick fix. It's these trends that we're jumping on board, and no one is looking, well, I wouldn't say no one, but the majority of the market out there isn't doing the work like you're doing, Colleen, where it's like, okay, cool, look at where's the root cause, what's happening, and it's quick fixes. We're just wanting, and when you actually look at it, you go, that actually is crazy that the obesity rates are on an increase, yet we have more access than ever now to knowledge and education. Like you can go on ChatGPT and go, hey, give me a week nutritional plan based off XYZ, you know, or you can do this, or you can do this now. It's so easily accessible to majority of us now, yet none of these cardiovascular diseases are declining.
No.
Like, I don't know. It baffles
We
me.
have so much information. We have access to so many things, but we're getting sicker and sicker and
Yeah.
sicker. But we're also, you know, do I want to skip the fast food, the quick meals, the, you know, whatever it is, whatever the convenience in lifestyle, you know, not, you know, you see so many people taking videos of them strength training, and so many people say, well, I can't do that, or I don't know how to do that, or I don't want to do that. And when we market that we have this easier option, that seems sexier, right? I don't have to change anything, but I can do this one thing, and I can feel the way that I want to feel, look the way that I want to look. But, you know, we're not really, you still have to do the work to get there.
No. We could talk about it for ages.
I'm sorry,
sure we could.
but I really, really wanted to know your input on it. Like,
Well, we've been talking about it for a while, haven't we, B? So I'm glad that you asked, because it's, What, Colleen, would you say is like one simple habit that, I guess, you know, a busy woman, whether they're a mom or not, that they can start today to feel better in themselves, and to get on track?
Yeah. Oh, well, we kind of talked about it already, but eat breakfast.
eat breakfast.
Okay. So eat breakfast, and then drink your coffee. You know, and it can be really simple. You can do an egg with some avocado toast or avocado and sourdough, or you can do, you know, there's so many Pinterest recipes out there of like protein waffles, or you can get protein, you know, frozen protein waffles. Are they going to be 100% the best? No, but if you're not eating anything and you're rushing out the door, start really simple. And I think we jump from I'm not doing anything, I'm not going to eat, or I'm going to stop in the drive-thru, or whatever it is, to thinking that we have to have these gourmet buffet meals. And I tell people all the time, I am the laziest chef you will ever meet. If it takes me more than 20-30 minutes to make a meal, it is not happening in my house. That goes for all meals. And, you know, I run a business. I have 2 kids. I have, you know, I have workouts that I want to do. I have things on my schedule, right? So how do I make that work? And it's start really small, and start, you know, with breakfast is often the easiest to start with, because you can make things the night before, but start with one meal. You know, make sure you're eating something really nutrient dense with protein, with fiber. And if those are the only 2 things that you focus on, you're going to be perfectly fine. You know, we don't have to track every single meal for, you know, 3 months in order to reach our goals. Just start with one thing. You know, if you can get a meal in the morning within 1 hour of waking, you are setting yourself up for stable blood sugar. You're supporting your hormones and your mood, your energy. You're really setting the tone for the whole day. Really are.
Can I just ask one more thing? So,
Of course.
why can't you have coffee on an empty stomach? Might be a stupid question, but like, what's the reason behind
It's not
it?
stupid.
Yeah, no, there's no stupid question.
No.
There's no such thing as stupid question. So, and now I also want to just say, there is no such thing as perfection in my world. Do I every once in a while have coffee on an empty stomach? Yeah, I do. You know, I'll just say it. The reason we don't want to, one, is coffee's a stimulant, right? We're going to have something without any backing, if you will, that is going to bring us into that kind of fight or flight, into that chaos state. So we're going to see things like blood sugar spikes and drops. When we're fasting overnight, you know, our body is using that previous meal to fuel us 14, you know, from whatever, 12, 14 hours from whenever you finish eating until you break the fast. the longer we go with that, the more of a stress response we have on the body. And so coffee is not really giving us enough. And we're going to see massive cortisol spikes, blood sugar dysregulation, and things like that. If you are like, I don't really want to do that, add fat and protein into your coffee. You know, you can do like a chocolate collagen and make a mocha. You can add, especially if you have hormone dysregulation, you know, add a little bit of butter into your coffee, or you can do some full fat milk and things like that. You know, we really shame, oh, cream and sugar. Make it a little bit different. Do some butter and collagen, or a little bit of protein powder, or a little bit of milk, but something that's going to give you some substance, fat and protein, so that you're not getting these big spikes and drops in your blood sugar, which is in turn going to drain your energy. It's going to impact your mood. So, you know, we want to avoid that. And if we can add things into the coffee, we'll do that. And that's when I drink coffee on an empty stomach, is I'll add some things into it. And then that's, you know, I just want a slow morning sometimes to sip my coffee and read a book or do whatever. And that's how I do it.
I guess like when we say like the easiest breakfast, right? Because most people's like, they want quick, easy in the morning. And you said like a piece of toast, maybe with some avocado and egg on it. What bread would you suggest? Like, I know this is a hard one because everyone's different, but just like the most common bread that you would suggest people to have on the go.
Yeah, well, in the States, it's really hard because our wheat is heavily sprayed with glyphosate, heavily processed. And so people here experience a massive amount of gut dysfunction from breads like that. I would say, you know, if you have a homemade sourdough, if you have an organic bread, you're going to get less of the fillers. You're going to get less of the chemicals that are creating some of that dysfunction. Gluten-free might not be the best option. You know, for some, like myself, I have to stay gluten-free, but for others, you know, there's still fillers in gluten-free bread. It's not a simple replacement. So for some, that sourdough is often the best option with the least amount of ingredients and the least amount of fillers. You can also do sweet potato toast. You know, you can use that instead. You're still getting a really good amount of carbohydrates. You can even do, like I'll do a really easy one, which takes a little bit more time, is doing veggies with like some potato or sweet potato, eggs, some ground, you know, breakfast turkey, breakfast chicken, whatever it is. You can pre-make stuff at night too. Egg muffins are a really easy one where you can just kind of throw a bunch of random veggies and meats into muffin tins and blend some egg, or blend it all together and pour it in, you know, whatever works.
My mom's just made me them.
They're great. We travel. That's how, you know, when we do car trips, or when we're going to be, we know we have a fast morning, we pre-make those. You can also do, and I have a whole breakfast builder guide that I have, that I can even have you guys link it in here. But you can do things like chia seed pudding, or overnight oats with protein powder or some sort of protein on the side added in, that really give you protein and fiber. And that's the big things, like fruits and veggies, colorful protein. How do we get that? Greek yogurt, coconut yogurt, cottage cheese, eggs, meats, things like that. And then you want your fruits, veggies, avocados, things like that. And then just pair it together. and not overthink it. You know, we overthink it.
We definitely know what to take from this, don't we, Ames? Before we have our coffee.
Yeah, it's actually so funny that I was thinking about this in the morning, and it wasn't because I was thinking about the podcast. I honestly, Jen was like, here we go again.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh God.
And that's coming from me. Like I've sent my mum started eating breakfast like within an hour before she wakes up, because I sent her a podcast. You've probably listened to it, Colleen, with Mel Robinson. She did a podcast last year, I think it was, or the beginning of this year, and she talked a lot about that as well. And I sent it to a couple of my girlfriends and stuff. So, and then I'm saying, there's me again. So yeah, I think it is. It's so important. I think, and it definitely a key takeaway too, Colleen. Like don't overthink it. It's so simple. And I think it's just, making sure that you're just prioritizing and being a little bit more aware about what we're putting in our bodies, not from a from a convenience perspective, but more so about how we're actually feeling, because it impacts, like you've said, everything.
Everything.
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh.
It's been so insightful.
Yeah, Colleen, it's been awesome.
It's been fun.
Thank you. It's been incredible. Where can people, we'll put it in the show notes, but where can people find, I guess, about what you do a little bit more?
Yeah. The best way to connect is probably Instagram. My Instagram is @Colleen_mindfully nourished. And then there's links to a whole bunch of stuff there in my bio and my website. But my website is www.mindfully-nourished.com.
Thank you.
Thank you. This was great.
Oh, Thank you.
Howdy, it's us again. Hope you enjoyed the episode.
Don't forget to download the awareness kit and subscribe to the podcast. Have a fabulous day.